The Book of Judges, chapter 3. And these are the nations that Jehovah left to prove Israel by them, all that had not known all the wars of Canaan, only that the generations of the children of Israel might know war by learning it, at the least those who before had known nothing thereof. 5 lordships of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Sidonians, and the Hivites, that dwell in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering into Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would obey the commandment of Jehovah, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. Verse 5. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters as wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Jehovah, and forgot Jehovah their God, and served the Baals and the Asherahs. And the anger of Jehovah was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Shushan-Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Shushan-Rishathaim 8 years. And the children of Israel cried to Jehovah, and Jehovah raised up a Saviour to the children of Israel, who saved them, Othniel the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. And the Spirit of Jehovah was upon him, and he judged Israel. And he went out to war, and Jehovah gave Shushan-Rishathaim king of Syria into his hand, and his hand prevailed against Shushan-Rishathaim, and the land had rest 40 years, and Othniel the son of Kenaz died. Verse 12. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of Jehovah. And Jehovah strengthened Eglon the king of Moab against Israel, because they did evil in the sight of Jehovah. And he gathered to him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and they took possession of the city of palm trees. And the children of Israel served Eglon the king of Moab 18 years. Verse 15. And the children of Israel cried to Jehovah, and Jehovah raised them up a Saviour, Ehud, the son of Gera, the Benjaminite, a man left-handed. And by him the children of Israel sent a gift to Eglon king of Moab. And Ehud made him a sword having 2 edges. It was of a cubit length, and he girded it under his raiment upon his right hip. And he brought the gift to Eglon king of Moab. Now Eglon was a very fat man. And it came to pass, when he had ended offering the gift, he sent away the people that had borne the gift. But he turned from the graven images that were by Gilgal, and said, I have a secret word unto thee, O king. And he said, Be silent. And all that stood by him went out from him. And Ehud came to him. Now he was sitting in the cool upper chamber, which was for him alone. And Ehud said, I have a word from God unto thee. And he arose from the seat. Then Ehud put forth his left hand, and took the sword from his right hip, and thrust it into his belly. And the haft also went in after the blade, and the fat closed upon the blade. For he did not draw the sword out of his belly, and it came out between the legs. Verse 23. And Ehud went into the portico, and shut the doors of the upper chamber upon him, and bolted them. Verse 24. And when he was gone out, the servants of the king came and saw, and behold, the doors of the upper chamber were bolted. And they said, Surely he is covering his feet in the summer chamber. And they waited till they were ashamed. And behold, he opened not the doors of the upper chamber. And they took the key, and opened them, and behold, their Lord lay dead on the earth. Verse 26. And Ehud had escaped while they lingered, and passed between the graven images, and escaped to Seirah. And it came to pass when he was come, that he blew a trumpet in the whole country of Ephraim, and the children of Israel went down with him from the hill country, and he before them. And he said to them, Follow after me, for Jehovah has delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. And they went down after him, and took the fords of the Jordan toward Moab, and suffered no one to pass over. And they slew the Moabites at that time, about 10,000 men, all fat, and all men of valour, and not a man escaped. And Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. Verse 31. And after him was Shamgar the son of Anath, and he smote the Philistines, 600 men with an ox and goad, and he also delivered Israel.